This story is based on a true event involving a pizza delivery boy. The incident happened to John during his college days when he worked at a part-time job at a small pizza shop. One night around 1 a.m., just as John was about to finish his shift and head home, the phone at the pizza shop rang. John answered it. On the other end of the line, a man was placing an order in a very hushed voice. Initially, John threw about refusing the order since the shop was already closed. However, when the man ordered 4 large pizzas, John decided to take the order. Large orders usually meant a good tip, and John needed the money. John quickly prepared the pizza and set out for the delivery. The address was quite far from the shop, in a remote part of the city. By now, it was late, and the area was desert. The roads were unpaved, with dense vegetation on both sides. And there were no street lights, making it pitch black. After a long drive, John arrived at the address, which was in front of a very old and eerie-looking house. The house was located deep within a forest area, and there was no light on, nor was there any sign of activity. It looked abandoned, and John felt a sense of unease. He decided to call his manager to explain the situation and possibly head back, but his manager did not answer the phone. John knew if he returned with the pizzas, his manager would be extremely angry and might even cut his salary. Despite repeated attempts, his manager remained unreachable. John approached the house to make the delivery. As he got closer, a light inside the house turned on, giving him a glimmer of hope that someone was there. He rang the doorbell and called out, "Pizza delivery," but no one answered. He rang the bell again. This time, he heard footsteps from inside, but still no one opened the door. Just as John was about to leave, the door creaked open its own. Nervously, he entered the house. The hallway was dimly lit, and the place was empty. John called out, "Hello? Is anyone there? Please come and get your pizza." At that moment, he noticed a black cat crossing the hall and disappearing into a room. As he followed, the lights in the TV in that room turned on, and he heard the unsettling sound of children laughing and playing. John felt that someone might be playing a prank on him, and his frustrations, he entered the room. Inside, he saw 2 young girls sitting on the floor, staring at him strangely. John demanded to know why they had not answered the door. The girls continued to stare silently. John, increasingly irritated, told them he was there to deliver the pizza and asked if there was any adult in the house Who could pay? Suddenly, the girl's eyes turned completely white, and their silence shifted to a sinister laugh. They pointed toward the door, and when John turned around, he was horrified. Standing behind him were the figure of a woman and the two girls. The side man John dropped the pizza's boxes. He ran out of the house, leaving the pizzas behind. As he hurried back to his bike, he noticed that it was manufacturing. A flat tire left him stranded. In a panic, John called the police and requested urgent assistance. While waiting, he saw the ghostly figure of the woman and girls appear in the mirror, moving slowly toward him. Frightened beyond words, John abandoned his bike and fell into the forest. Executed, he hid behind a large tree, praying for his safety. Soon, he heard the distant sounds of police and mustered the courage to return his bike. When he got back, he saw that the police were investigating the scene. John explained everything to the officer and they complained him to the house. They conducted a thorough search but found nothing except from a white cat. The next morning, John learned that the house had been vacant from the past 2-3 years. He also discovered that 3 years ago, a woman and her 2 young daughters had lived there, but they had been murdered. This revelation left John in shock. He realized that the figure he had encountered were likely the spirits of the woman and her daughters, still trapped into that house. John could never understand who had committed the murders. After these incidents, he quit his pizza delivery job, but the memory of the night continues to haunt him deeply.